cut some of it, but...
Already lead us off.
All right, welcome to the very first Party Like It's 1964 video log. It's brought to you by our sponsor, Speedway. At Work or Play, we're on your way. The convenience store's a Speedway. Stop in for a stuffer, buy one, get one right now. All right, so we're going to start it off by welcoming our first guest. We've got PHAT Mike.
Well, thank you for having me on, guys.
It's an honor to have you,
it's
Mike.
It's a pleasure. Are we allowed to swear on this or no?
Swearing's allowed.
Okay.
PHAT Mike is hosting also, graciously.
To write off a couple of Mike's achievements in this league, he's been a simultaneous SACO and LP holder, which actually he's not the first. Our new champ, Ante, held that privilege first year.
2013.
And then he was what? Is it last place or SACO before?
Ante has
It's a nice model for me to work off of, worst to first, just like champ.
Something to strive for, Mike. We can all agree on that.
Ante, only his first year was SACO and LP.
And then what was Mike's other? He had one more bad year.
Mike was also the license plate holder in 2014. Nice work, Mike. And that was the inaugural year of the license plate
This
holder.
will be the last year.
There's his prize possession.
All right, so to start things off, we're going to get going with our power rankings. So let's start with Mike.
All right, guys. Well, I don't know if you can see this at home, but here it is. I'll say it out. Say it out loud for you. I got the champ coming in at number 1. So Mr. Meoff, good job. I thought you had a phenomenal draft. Also, tight second, I thought was Bare Booty Productions. He really, probably the best draft I've seen him have in years. Third place was tough between Ben and the Mailman. I know we all laughed at Milligan for his draft. I think I was quoted as saying, if this was Madden 2008, it would have been a great draft. But on paper, I think he's got a good team. Big countryman. Also, solid draft on your end. I got myself coming in at 5. I got the Shitloaders coming in at 6. Actually, Shit Diggers at 7, right behind them with their little competition they have going. Sorry, Hose, I got you at 8. Followed by Rats, the bitter rival at 9. 10 is the Cheetah. 11 is the Chair Sniffers and Co-Commish, Ethan. And
very happy I'm not last.
And 12 is Perch.
Deputy Commish.
All right, yeah, I agree with a lot of those, but I'm going to go with a different lineup. At first, we've got your one and only Commish, Big Countryman. I think he had a solid draft, solid keeper. We'll see. I think it gets overlooked that he was a 2-time license plate holder, but
Days are behind us.
Yeah. Next, we've got Champ Ante. I hate to say it, I've got a big bet with him, but I think he's got a solid roster. You can't argue against Devontae, Gronk, and Antonio Brown. That's a 3-headed monster right there.
Yes, it is.
If Russell Wilson's getting that push from Sierra, you never know what happens. Next, we've got Bare Booty. John had a solid draft, good keeper, Tyreek Hill. We'll see how he does, see if he works the waiver wire or not.
Could be Booty's year. It's a real turn of events for him, though, with a different style.
Dare I say the business cards were maybe they're good karma.
Highlight of the draft, possibly. Business cards, John.
Good job.
Next, we've got Milligan. Really likes the Melvin Gordon keeper. A little worried about his receivers.
Very weak.
I think he had Allen Robinson. Good luck with that pussy, room by year. Can't remember who else he had.
Can we just touch on really quick Milligan's luck with the drafting order, though? We discussed this earlier in the pre-show. He has had a top 4 pick in every year, so hey, karma's going your way, Mel.
Every year but one. Top 3 pick in every year but one, and he was the 7th pick.
Yeah, and that was last year.
Next,
we've got the Freeloaders. He's always been consistent. These fell off since his asterisk year 1 championship, but we'll see if his renewed attendance in the Browns games helps with anything or not. We've got Hose coming at 6th. I don't know what Jared was doing. I mean, 9th round defense.
Yeah.
What was
10th round kicker.
No, you went defense and kicker back-to-back rounds. Early rounds. A lot of good players left on the board.
Who's the second running back?
He's got Gillislee.
Oh, Gillislee.
Yeah. I don't know about a New England back.
I don't know if I like it, but he's got David Johnson, Aaron Rodgers, so he's always in it. Next we're going to go with Mike. And like I said, a lot of these rankings right here could kind of be interchanged, but Mike, solid roster this year, barring any injuries or just shitty overall teams he's had back in 2008. That's Mike. Next we've got Rats. Actually kind of like the Rats roster, but 2nd year franchise. Good keeper in Thomas. We'll see how he does. Next is Shit Diggers. Not much to say. I mean, he picked Joe Mixon, who's 3rd on the depth chart. Marvin Lewis scrambles those running backs around. Jeremy Hill won't train touchdowns. He's also a woman beater with Mixon, so we'll see. 10, we've got Cheetah. Poor draft from QB Carl. 11 was Perch, also poor draft. I put myself at 12. We'll touch on my Sacco maybe later if I get there, but I don't think I'll get it. Now we'll go to Ben.
All right, here we go. From the commish.
Dan, can I say again how good Speedway is? Stop there if you haven't. Just great food and great beverages.
Not to mention a great house blend of coffee. Thank you.
All right. First overall in the power rankings, we got Mr. Pantani, Bear Booty Productions. Again, business cards were classic. I thought John put together a very well-rounded draft. He had a nice keeper also, Mr. Tyreek Hill, 16. Next up, we got Ante. I like his draft again. Gifted another nice keeper from this moron to my right. Devontae in the 9th is nice for sure. He also had a nicely rounded team. Next up, we got Carl.
Wow, that's the highest I've seen cheat on a list.
Wow.
I had a nice draft for Carl. Only question mark really is running back. If he can get through these first couple weeks without Doug Martin, I think he will be sitting pretty. I also like the Crabtree keeper. We could all thank Ed Zdolchek for. Nice work, Rats. Next up, I have Fat Mike at number 4. I have myself, the big countryman.
I should go to social work. Let me point that out there. Keep going though.
So that logo will be released here soon. My graphic designer is very slow. Then we had Fat Mike. I like Mike's team. I like the running back focus. Sean McCoy at 4 was a great pick. And then he took Dalvin Cook 2nd round, who I tried to get in a trade today. He denied me.
We'll keep the table open, all right?
I really like Mike's team. Mariota, I think, will have a solid year. And he had TP in the 13th, which was also a solid keeper. Looks like he already dropped Janikowski with his contract talks.
Yeah, I thought they were going to give him some cigs and vodka for some extra incentive, but that is not the case. So he is on the waiver wire for anyone who wants to pick him up.
Polska, Mr. Polish
I
Cannon.
heard he may pick up Aguayo, who's no longer on a roster. Bold move, Mike.
Next up at 6, we have the Freeloaders. Loaders had a nice draft. I thought they fleeced E in that trade in round 1. Trading up for Zeke, I think he would have fell to Mr. Host over here.
I found out he wouldn't though, so we'll see.
That's what they all say. So Loaders had a nice team. I'm enjoying the shit talk between the Loaders and Diggers. Hopefully there's more of that to come this year. $100 bet on the line. I don't know. It's going to be close. See if the Diggers make the playoffs. They're going to come later in my rankings. At number 7, we have the Rats. Rats had a pretty nice draft. Their keeper was nice, Mr. Thomas, later in the draft. Nice
What
work,
school do you go
Rats.
to again?
The Ohio State University. Play Oklahoma this Saturday. Tune in.
Worst school in the world?
Number 8, we have the Diggers coming in. Originally, I thought they had a pretty nice draft, and then I looked at their roster more. Some question marks at running back. Todd Gurley will not have more yards, points total, than Mr. Ajayi.
Roethlisberger's getting bottled up week 1 as well.
I don't know who's throwing the ball to Moncrief the first couple weeks, and then he's got.
I think it's Curtis Painter that picked him up out of waiver wire.
He's got Grandpa and Marshawn and Larry Fitzgerald, so who knows? I did like the Corey Davis pick, though. I think that is the best value pick in the draft. I think he's going to have a great year as a rookie. AB 2.0. Next up, we had Mill coming in at number 9. I thought Mill's team was trash. His wideouts, T.Y., again, who's throwing him the ball. And then we had A-Rob, who Ethan can speak to. And then, just some question marks. And he's also got Frank Gore, who, mark my words, will be out of the starting lineup by week 6 at the latest.
Probably in the nursing home.
Next up, we have the Hose. Hose, historically poor draft for the Hose, in my opinion. I was not impressed at all.
And I think that puts the Hose and all of ours in the bottom half of the rankings for the first time maybe ever. So
I think that he really learned the lesson, and I think that 7th round punishment really had a bigger effect on his team than he thought. And, hopefully next time he colludes smarter so leadership doesn't have to make a tough call like that. But it was ultimately the correct call.
waiver gate.
Right call. Looking at you, Diggers. Right call.
Number 11, I have the chair sniffers here coming in. Drafted a suspended player in the 8th round without even knowing it. And then he drafted a suspended player in the 1st round. He traded up for. So that's pretty bad. Rest of the team is Paul Perkins is garbage. Amir Abdullah is a high ceiling. I like him. Doesn't look good for E.
Behind Martavis as well.
He's in a toss-up for Sacco. With the next guy on my list, that's Mr. 3 tight end, Matt Kircher. Did not like Captain Purchase draft. You never want to trust Jaguar. They're going to be playing from behind. Fournette's not going to get that much run. I did not like that pick at all for him.
Yeah, terrible pick.
And, yeah, it's his team overall. Doesn't wow me. So, that's our rankings. Power rankings.
All right, what's next, co-commish?
All right, we're going to go into...
Deputy commission.
Fucking right, Mike. All right, we're going to go into best keeper. And let's start with our guest, Mike.
All right, well, I think mine's just a no-brainer here. For me, it's Tyreek Hill, picked round 16 last year by John Pantani, a.k.a. Bear Booty Productions himself. 61 Booty Lane, Cleveland, Ohio, for the address for any folks.
It's Berea, but yeah.
And, yeah, I think this was a great pick, great keeper. He's going to have a dynamic year. He's going to be a top-end player, and he got to keep him in round 16. It was tough. I think there was a lot of good keepers like you have, I see right there. But, yeah, for mine, just one. I think it's John and Tyreek Hill.
Nice pick, Mike. Kind of had a list. Goes in order from 1 to 5. We'll start with Devontae Freeman, who I gifted Ante in on trade last year. I think that's what makes Ante a contender this year. Just got paid large contract for a running back, so see how he does with that big money. He's not playing for anything.
Does that keep you up at night, making that trade?
It did for a little bit, but now I rest pretty peacefully. Next we got Ben with the Giants. It's interesting to see how Miami does. They've got Cutler slinging the ball. Maybe open up some holes for Giants.
He's not playing in the Hurricane though, so out week 1.
It's good for my chances. We're gonna go with Howard. I don't like Chicago. I don't like Howard, but at round 16, he's a starting running back. He's young. Can't get much more value than that. My boy Michael Thomas coming in round 9 for the Rats. Thought he overpicked him a little bit last year, but he panned out well. And finally, we'll go Melvin Gordon for the mailman. Just like him on that team. Should be.
Okay. My best keepers, in my opinion, Jordan Howard is my favorite keeper. 16th round, gonna be a bell cow in Chicago. I don't know why Mike traded him to Custis for peanuts last year when he was clearly a keeper.
Well,
player.
I was struggling for some depth on my roster, so that's what we do.
Next up, I do like Terrell Pryor in the 13th. He's gonna have a nice year with Kirk throwing in the ball. Big Kirk fan here. Ajayi I like. Great keeper. Tyreek Hill, another nice one. I think everybody has solid keeper. Not everybody went their best option, in my opinion. Ethan had a terrible keeper with David Carr in the 11th. Could have got him in about the 12th or 13th round, I think, this year. Kirch, also not really a big fan of his keeper. I mean, quarterback keeper, not great. You can get better value elsewhere. And I also am not a huge fan of the first round keeper. So even though Jared traded back for the last pick, which I don't even know why Kevin did that, just straight up trading, I would have made Jared throw me a 5th rounder or something like that. You know, swap 5ths to move back. I mean, he wanted to move back more than you wanted to move up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just absurd.
That's loader mentality, though. So, yeah. So those are my keepers.
Transitioning, we're going to be looking at who we think had the best draft overall. Mike, you ready with an answer? Are you still making
I'm good.
anti-Semitic comments toward me?
I think, honestly, the best draft has to go the freeloaders. It's tough, but I think Kevin's just really, really loaded with depth on his roster. Could have went with Ante, but I think Ante's biggest, his keeper helps his roster out a lot. I think Kevin overall just had a nice draft. He's got a very deep squad here. Let's see,
AJ,
yeah.
Cooks.
Martavius Bryant, love that pick. Love Sammy Watkins' pick. I think he's going to be good here.
Martavius Bryant, sorry, we made a trade.
Love Howell. Adrian Peterson, I think, is going to be the running back 1 in there by week 6 probably. So I just thought he had a lot of nice picks there. He's got Cam Newton as quarterback. I don't know, but
Yeah,
really, he's
Kevin
loaded.
would be
Kevin's just loaded on depth, which is good.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Personally disagree.
I don't agree with Mike either. You go, Ben.
I got Bootyville with the best overall complete draft. I love the Marlon Mack pick. He's going to be replacing Frank Gore before week 6. Put that on the record. Who else did Bear Booty have? I don't know about Lamar Miller, but pretty much every other player he drafted I like. And Tyreek in the 16th is nice. So
Yeah, agree with
going
that.
Booty.
I also went with Booty. I was going to go with Ante, but honestly, I mean, like I said, 3-headed monster. But then he fucking picked Corey Coleman in the 6th round.
What were you thinking?
Diggers had him shook and rattled.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Diggers really played that up, and I am 100% positive. I was sitting next to Ante during the draft. He wanted to make the Diggers angry, and
not the expense of your team, champ. You have a big bet with me, and that could have blown it for you.
he pretty much played right into the Diggers game.
You can't let that bulldog bark be
So
backed by that puppy dog bite, right?
that's not the same, but
I was going to say.
let's go on.
Close enough.
It's
The
close.
best value drafted player.
Yeah, we'll go with best value drafted player. Now this is a lot of
Opinion.
to be determined, but we looked at a lot of later round picks that could have a potentially breakout year, maybe serve as a solid keeper.
I'll start off. So I have Corey Davis in the 7th round. Again, I think Corey Davis has a very high ceiling on that powerful Tennessee offense. It's going to be nice this year. He's a 7th round pick. I really do think he has the potential to be AB 2.0. Again, also from the Maction baby.
Was he the number 1 drafted receiver? Is that correct?
Yes, he was the highest drafted receiver this year in the draft.
All right, I'm going to go with 3. So we're going to go with Devontae Parker, and I believe that was the hose, round 8. From everything I'm hearing, he's going to have a breakout year. He's possibly surpassing Rashard Matthews down in Miami. Chris Hogan, you've got Edelman out. It's kind of a toss-up. He's got a lot of targets there. James White, running back, is pretty good receiving. You've still got Danny Amendola. But
Still got Brandon Cooks, too.
And Cooks. And then I'm going to go with Kevin White from West Virginia.
I like that. I was going to say that.
Highly hyped out of West Virginia. Hasn't really done much, but
Yeah, we'll see if Trubisky can get him the pill, though, you know?
they lost.
This is only because Cam Meredith went down.
And they lost Alshon. So, I mean...
Kevin White is in there, but also Kendall Wright, who was just picked up by Big Countryman off the waiver wire, is going to be getting a lot of targets in the slot.
Good pick. Mine, I'm just going with 1, and that's Eric Decker in the 8th round of the Cheetah. I thought that was his best value pick and one of the best value picks in the draft. When healthy, I think Eric Decker, he's a touchdown machine. Good for about 8 to 11 per year. So I think he's going to be healthy, and he's going to help a thriving Tennessee offense.
Yeah. Good old Mike.
Thanks, man.
All right. So now we're going to go with our projected Sacco winner. Ben's got his board ready, so we're going to start with him.
This is a toss-up for me between Ethan and Kircher. I thought they both had pretty bad drafts for various reasons. A lot of question marks on both sides. I think Ethan got a little too under the influence during the draft and made some poor decisions during the draft.
He means high on God. For me, I'm going to have to go with Perch. I know that I'm in consideration, but here's the things I think it'll come down to. Zeke, hopefully, if not back for the full year, highly doubtful, but he'll be back for the second half, and he's going to propel me past whatever Kircher throws at me. Kircher also, I mean, very weak wide receivers. He went with, Golden Tate. He's very hit or miss. Brandon Marshall, reach, 4th round. Don't understand that.
And he's 39,
Yeah,
so.
he's solid, but, Stephon Diggs could break out. He's got Adam Thielen there who could surpass him, and Jeremy Maclin, just not a lot of targets. 3 tight ends, so maybe he just throws the ball to tight ends, switches them to receiver. Not allowed, but who knows? We can see. And then Matt Ryan. Great year last year, but Kyle Shanahan did leave. I think we see that offense regress. Maybe a big injury to Julio. Never know.
That would not be good for the Diggers.
I agree with both of you guys. While I can sit here and pile it on Ethan and Kircher for their piss-poor drafts, I am just going to go think outside the box. I'm going to go with Cheetah, who I think had maybe the 3rd worst draft.
And you know he's not making any fucking trades.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, him and Milligan are in the same boat. Offer a lot, get a little.
That's how Carl will see this.
So yes, Cheetah I think will get the Sacco. I know the Diggers are very happy to not hear their name in this conversation for once, but hey, it's a long season, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, you're still in the convo, just not on our boards.
And this evening so far brought to you by...
Yeah, let's throw another shout out to Speedway. Like I said, can't beat their 99-cent freezes. Mike's got a nice...
If you're in a hurry for dinner, grab yourself a nice Southwest Tornado. They're on the rollers, filled with corn, salsa, and some Mexican spices.
Like I said before, they've got their Speedy Mega Stuffer, 75% more filling. Buy one, get one free right now. What's not to like? Stop in today. We're going to transition and we're going to go into...
The opposite direction from Sacco. We're going to go to our predicted winners for the league this year. I'll start us off. I got 3 picks here. I think they're all pretty close. All men are on the heftier side. We got Bear Booty in there at 1. We got Ante, potential repeat at 2. And we got myself at 3. I think everybody's got a solid team, and these teams are the deepest, in my opinion, in the league. And I think it's a big countryman's year to break out. John is always in the conversation, and Ante has been there before, officially. So
Good picks. Yeah, mine was also Banner Ante. John could be up there, but with these two. I don't think, I hate to put Ante on here because I had that bet with him. I don't think he repeats. Very hard to repeat unless you're using some sort of very scientific algorithm like...
Mr. White Passive?
Yeah, R.I.P. He's at home, stuck around his mom's teeth. But I think Ben could pull it out. I know you've won it. I don't want to reference your other league. We'll call it the other league, but you've won what, twice?
repeat, and I've won 3 out of 6 titles.
He's got...
Been in the shit 4 out of 6 times.
He's got the talent. I think he should reverse his draft strategy. Maybe he drafts one player in one league, doesn't draft him in another, but it's worked out in one league. Like I said, 2 times license plate holder in this league. Turn it around.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna echo what you guys said. I think my champion is Champ, aka Jack Neoff. I think he's going for the repeat. He's got a nice roster. I also do think that Bear Booty Productions is not far behind. Also, I agree with Ben, and I think Ben is right there, and myself as well. I'm gonna throw myself a bone for a nice draft. So
Very nice.
And the bet, Mike.
thanks, man. Let me see that.
Next, we're going to just run through some of the bets that have taken place so far in this year. I'm going to finish writing them down here. Okay, so first bet is between Ethan and Ante. This was the first bet executed for the 2017 season when Champ was flying high on his victory. Congratulations again. If you don't bring the
So refresh this. What's this bet again?
Sorry, so this bet is a straight up $300 bet, no odds, on Ante repeating. Ante, of course, has himself repeating, and Ethan has the field. So I'm going to give that one to Ethan.
That is bold, and I agree. I'm going to give that to Ethan. It's a tough one for Champ to put himself in. He
Easy
almost cuts his winnings from this year in half. But if he loses
those
that,
are the odds. I mean, the field, who knows with injuries, things like that. It's going to be tough to repeat. Next bet up, we got Jared on Ante, and this bet is $300 again by the Champ. Got some deep pockets out there in Vegas. This is for Jared to make the playoffs or not. And I don't think Jared's going to make it this year. I think that he's going to fall short of the playoffs despite that firepower at running back with Mr. Johnson.
I agree, but I think we all know how easily egged on the Narc is. You can really get under his skin very easily in this league.
Very stoic at the draft. I mean, I don't know if he was a little sad that the other half of his team, Mr. Will, was not present or what. But
Thou shalt not mention him.
Yeah, he seemed shook.
So what was your final answer?
For that bet, I want to hear your opinion.
On Jared Benante? I'm gonna go Jared. I think, you've got 50% chance pretty much to make the playoffs. It's a big wager. I know you're trying to hedge your bets, Ante, but I'm gonna go with the hose, or maybe I don't know what his new name's gonna be. He's got to change it.
I think he changed it to the hose. Just
hose. Okay. Very original, Jared.
Next bet up is myself and the Diggers, and this bet is a running back bet. This is total fantasy points for Gurley versus Ajayi. I have Ajayi, and I think he's going to excel this year. He's got the starting spot for the full year versus Gurley, who's going to be running against a stacked box the entire year with Mr. Goff throwing the ball. So I'm going to go with Ajayi on that myself.
I'm going to go with Ajayi as well. I think Gurley has talent, but Goff, I just don't think he has it. Not a lot of receivers. They just got Sammy Watkins, right? Can he stay healthy? Big question. Yeah, I'm going to go Ajayi. I like that Miami offense. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to have to go with Ajayi as well. I do think it's really close, though. It's very close.
I do think it will be close.
This
is a
$20.
honestly
It's really hard to pick that. But I would say I'd probably give it to Ajayi just because I just think the Rams are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. And I feel like Ajayi is going to have a little more success with the better system. He's got more weapons, and the Rams are terrible. So
largest bet in Digger's history until this next bet.
Our final bet, most recent in the league. This is between Kevin and Matt.
Can we just talk about who was more rattled during this entire exchange? I don't know if you guys read that in the group chat, but I think
it was a lot of gibberish. I think we were all dumber.
I think Kevin was getting a little mad, but I think Matt was also very, very angry about it as well. And
heard a couple fist pounds on his desk over my cubicle, so I know he was rattled.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think there's going to be some more
chatter
between the two franchises.
And I don't know if we explained that, but that bet was on
$100 for Matt to make the playoffs or not. Matt, of course, has himself in the playoffs for $100, and Kevin obviously.
Can we pull up the history on that? How many times have Diggers made the playoffs?
Let's see. You got the spreadsheet here.
That is a good question,
This
Ethan.
will be done soon.
Thanks, Mike.
Diggers franchise is done. They made the playoffs one time in 2014, and they were bounced in the second round, where they were outscored by 54 points.
Wow, a whopping 54.
54 points by Bob.
So what's your prediction for this, Ben?
So I am going to think that I have the Diggers making it to the dance this year. I have the Diggers winning this bet. $100 from Kevin. That's my opinion on that.
This one I think is going to be a little bit closer than maybe the hose bet of similar standing. I just, like I said, I don't really love his roster. I didn't mind it at draft time. I thought Mixon was taken early. Who's his other running backs? I mean, he had Jeremy Hill, obviously. His starter was...
Diggers had Joe Mixon, Marshawn.
Oh, Gurley, yeah. Gurley. So, I mean, he's got the geriatric receiver and Larry Fitzgerald, Marshawn as well. Interesting to see how he does. Great offense. It's kind of old. So, I'm going to say, I'll make it. Fuck it. We'll say he makes the playoffs. I don't know if he does. Picked up Josh Gordon as well, so...
I am hearing that Josh Gordon will be back for the Indianapolis Colts game, but
that's what I've heard as well.
We will see. And we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be the only people there.
No other league members are coming. I don't know why Mike hasn't given me an answer. It's pretty disappointing. Greg Studerman will be there. Vince will be there. Myself and Ethan will be there.
Mike didn't want us to say this, but child support's getting pretty expensive for Megan, so it's a big reason.
Fucking Paisley's a bitch.
Plays into it.
Well, I'm going to go with that bet. I'm going to say that I think I'm going to have to take Kevin on that. Matt's got a decent team up front, but he just has no depth on that roster, and he's got an older roster too. So if Marshawn decides to get suspended for a game perhaps, which I could see happening, or just getting hurt because he's old and just whatever, same with Larry Fitzgerald, he's pretty fucked with his backup options, and same at running back, so I think I'm going to have to go with Kevin on that.
I could see Mr. Skittles just...
sitting
out a few days just to protest. So it is possible.
It's a very risky pick on his end, but it could end up paying off because we all know what Marshawn used to be. So
is that everything?
Yeah. And actually, we're gonna transition really quick. We're gonna rock it off. Week 1 matchups and who we think. First one, we're gonna go with the Big Countrymen versus Chair Sniffers. I'm gonna go myself. Sole reason Zeke's supposed to play. The Hurricane, he's losing Mike Evans and Jay Ajayi.
Myself, I'm not gonna say Ethan, so I'm gonna go with myself. I think Eddie Lacy's in line for a good amount of carries if Rawls is out, which is what I've heard.
He's puking on the field.
I heard he's lost some weight. He's ready.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Big Countryman on this one. Sorry, Sniffers.
Is this out of spite or is this for real?
When he gets up, I expect you to sniff his spot and pay him some respect.
Always.
Let's go to the shit pie game.
Yeah, the shit pie. I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's pretty fucking gross, but I do hope it happens. Kevin seems almost too eager. He might have a scat fetish. But let's see who we got here. Scam Newton.
There's a lot riding on this game too. This could really implicate Matt's playoff hopes if Kevin hands him a loss. So
True.
we'll see what happens.
I mean, I think Diggers is fucking around. He's got Josh Gordon in his spot. So I didn't do the full one.
I'm going with the Diggers.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I might give the Diggers the advantage on week one while they're all healthy.
Kevin will actually be in the Muni lot, I think, for week 1, so I think he's going to be distracted. He might go with a late roster move, nervous before he goes into the game. I don't know.
I could honestly see Kevin standing in the back of the pickup truck with his crop top on, pacing back and forth with his phone like this, and maybe make a really drastic last-minute chance that...
I'm going to go Loaders on this one. So we got 2 for Diggers, 1 for Loaders. Next one, we're going to go the Champ versus Kircher.
I'm going with Mehoff.
Yeah, I think it's
two opposite ends of the spectrum right here.
Yeah, we're gonna go Mehoff.
Sorry, Perch.
It's an easy one. Not much to say on that one. Next, we're gonna go into Cheetah versus Standish has Rats.
Wow.
Rats projected total. All right.
There's something missing there.
Yeah, he's missing a quarterback.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, who's he gonna pick up? I don't know.
It's tough. I don't know.
Is he fucking around about Tolzien?
I did hear Clipboard Jesus is available, so we'll see if he picks him up. But man, I might honestly have to go Carl on this one.
I would never mind. I was gonna say who I think he should pick up, but I don't want to give advice like he does. It's a bitch move.
Well, he has not added anyone, so I'm gonna go with Carl also.
Well,
with that question at QB.
Wouldn't it be ironic if Carl beat Ed because Ed told him who his keeper should be and saved him from complete humiliation? So
that would be ironic.
I feel like the Cheetah deserves to win this one, and he will.
Yeah, we'll go Cheetah. I mean, that pretty much was handed to him by the Rats, so it's only right. Next matchup, we're gonna go with Fat Mike versus the Hose. I mean, they're pretty much neighbors.
Projected points
the
98 to 97, Nick. So it's gonna be a close one, but
see who controls the block. Who you going with, Mike? Picking yourself?
Yeah, I'm confident. I think I'll go with myself.
I'm gonna go with Fat Mike also.
I think old Mike might not have chosen himself, but he did, and I'm going to agree with him. I think David Johnson might tear up Detroit. I mean, their offense is pretty bad. I was looking at some stats. Mostly their secondary, but David Johnson's still going to tear them up.
I'm sorry, I'm just not convinced on Gillislee on New England running backs. Just scare me.
I agree. I'll go with Fat Mike, but I'm saying don't count the Hose out.
It's going to be a close one, I'll say that.
Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's off of Olivia Munn's leash. I mean,
yes, sir. Yes, he is.
That's a mask.
Next one, we've got the Mailman
the last one
versus Bear Booty.
Ooh, wow. This is the juggernauts right here.
It's a heavyweight match, first round, baby.
And I projected to win.
Point-wise, Mailman coming in big with Drew Brees, a lot of points, and Le'Veon.
Let's just reflect on how bad of a pick Drew Brees was.
Yeah, it was
very early. He's old. I know he's very consistent. Le'Veon, 19 points. That might be the highest for a running back. I think that's a little too much for him. I think Brown's D is going to be very surprising. The loss of Garrett, well, maybe it's going to hurt that, but
it's a scary 1-2 punch that Milligan has at running back.
And T.Y., honestly,
I'm going with Booty.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Booty as well. Those are big. A-Rob sucks. T.Y. doesn't have luck. Le'Veon, Cleveland defense is going to surprise, and Brees. Minnesota
it's going to be close. I'm going to give the edge to the Mailman, though.
Okay. And we're going to end it with asking our guest a few questions. So, Mike, first off, I want to ask you, what do you think you finished record-wise leading into the playoffs?
I think I will finish top 5. I'm going to say 4th. I will finish 4th
okay.
record-wise, yes.
Opponent you're most looking forward to playing?
Man, I would love to shut the Diggers up, just, even though he's not a rival of mine, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say my neighbor Nick Jareb. It's a rivalry. We're a street away, and I want to beat the fuck out of him every time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Like the intensity, Mike. Like the intensity. Any parting words?
No. I love this league, and I love Speedway.
Yeah, that's it for it. Like you said, go grab Speedway.
Get your tailgate supplies for the Sunday at Speedway.